Just in case Pumpkin's water drinking is getting picked up, I'm going to wait a sec. Do you feel better? Are you hydrated? Thank you. The last day goes, they expand and shrink. Memories blur faster than you think. I don't know what it is about this sweater that's making me feel like I have no motivation to really work on it. Um, it's probably just the fact that it's taking a lot of focus, and feel like I can't have as much going on in my background as I normally do when I'm working on a project. I have to think a lot, and that's not something I'm used to doing. I'm very much someone who just finds the rhythm, remembers the pattern, and is able to just kind of power through it without having to put a lot of focus on it. But I think it's a combination of the pattern being pretty difficult to remember, needing to keep track of how many rows I've done before I do the next step, and the color being such a dark color that it's really hard to see the stitch definition at times. So I'm constantly having to go back and correct something that I've done. So I long to finish this sweater. I think that's also part of it is I want to finish it so I don't have to work on this anymore. Just because I don't like working with this color. The color is nice. I like how it looks, but working with it, you know. Anyway, let me show you. This is the Moby sweater that I'm making for my boyfriend. It's in this beautiful blue color, and in this light, it's very easy to see, as you can see. It's quite bright, but that's the glamour light I have going on here. It's a very bright white light. Um, Normally, if I pull it back, you see it's a little bit harder to see, and this is a little bit more in tune to what I'm seeing on the regular as I work on it. Um, I did just finish the front, or like the front piece, side part, whatever, until I combine it for to make the armholes. So I'm about to do that. I'm about to, excuse me, I'm about to combine front and back to create an armhole. And then I just work in the round for the rest of the body. And I'm pretty looking forward to that as well, because this entire part on the wrong side, working on the back side, is purl, and purling takes way too long. So I think this will feel like it's going a lot faster once I get to knit it entirely through. But all in all, I do really like how it looks. Like these stitches are really, really pretty. The color is really nice. I think it will look lovely on him when it's done. Yeah, that's about it right now. I'm just gonna keep trucking away on this, figure out my next step, and keep going. So I have been chipping away at the Moby sweater. It's still a lot of mental work, but I've gotten quite a bit of progress done on it. I would say for the length that I want, I'm probably about a quarter of the way done with the body. But I just need to take a mental break from it. I've taken like a day off here and there working on it. It's been about a week um, since I started the body, and like part of me feels a little guilty that I feel like I should be doing more on it, but I also just am not
motivated to work on it right now. It's just a lot of concentration that I don't really want to exude right now. I want something a little bit simpler. I've just been very tired recently, but I do want to show you what I've done. And so let me do that real quick. So here we have it. I'll move a little closer so you can see it a little bit better. Um, I have done a few mistakes on this, and you know what? I'm just moving with it and accepting it. Um, the lattice work in the front, I have mixed up multiple times as far as which way it's supposed to cross. C'est la vie. That is just how it is. I'm not going back and fixing that. Um, on the back, I don't believe I showed this very well in my last video. On the back, I messed up the cables to where they are far too spaced out row wise for when I actually do the cabling. The front is correct on that, so I got that correct. The lattice work is correct on the back, but the cables are wrong. The cables are right on the front, but the lattice work is wrong. These are small things I don't think my boyfriend's going to notice, which is who this is for. He's not a knitter. He doesn't do anything in fiber arts, so I think he'll love it regardless. The little mistakes are just things that I'm going to know and you are going to know. But you know what? It's a handmade sweater. There is still so much love being poured into this. It is just a lot of work. That being said, I am still incredibly happy with how this looks. Looking at it, I get even more and more excited every day that one day I will have one for myself. But he is more important for me. I want him to have one first, which is why I did his first. I really love it. It is just a lot of mental work. So, with that being said, I'm taking another break from that sweater just for a couple of days or a day, depending on how quickly this project works out. It's probably going to be very fast. Excuse me. In my last video, I mentioned that I wanted to use the remaining fluffy day yarn to make the big city bonnet. And I just got that pattern, so I'm just going to start working on that. And it says on her pattern that she only takes like an afternoon to make it, but she knows the pattern. It'll probably take me like a day or two if I sit down and focus on it. So I'm excited for it. So I do have my fluffy day yarn in that same green that you saw last video. The pattern does call for 6.5 and 5.5 millimeter needles. I don't have 6.5 in these needles, and these are my favorite needles right now. So I will be using 7 and 6 millimeter. These are the Hobby Stellar needles for anyone curious in the special pink. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm going to start that, and I feel like it'll work up very, very quickly, which is great. I think it'll just be a nice, quick mental break, little mental reset, and then I can just jump right back into that for a little bit. And maybe I'll take another break after a few days. I don't know. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And I want to make one for myself still, but I don't want to burn myself out over one pattern. I've done that before. And then I just like don't touch it. I like force myself to work on it and I just don't want to. So I'm trying to give myself time to finish this. Also, if this pattern is super fast and easy, like I'm sure it will be, I'd love to make a couple Christmas gifts for these. My boyfriend's sister has been really wanting me to make her something, and I'm totally on board with it. I just don't know much about her or what her style is. So I think I might make her a couple small winter accessories like a little bonnet, maybe a Sophie scarf, maybe some mittens. I'm not sure, but I think this would be a great one to test. And if I like it, maybe she'll like it. So we'll start there. Anyway, I'm going to start this. Well, this bonnet would have been a 1 day project had I actually taken a gauge swatch and measured my work after I finished it. Because this is about 2 inches too small in both dimensions of length and width. It's coming off a little more, I don't know. I don't know what it's coming off. It's too small. That's what it is, though. So I have already recast on. I'm remaking it. Um, this time I'm going to actually pay attention to how big it is now that I know the measurements it's supposed to be. I didn't take a gauge swatch, but I did loosen my gauge a little bit. I went up a needle size, and normally I have a tight gauge, so I just kind of assumed I'd be okay if I went up one. And clearly not. So I'm hoping being a little bit looser. I did add an extra couple rows into the first beginning portion. Basically, how this builds up is like you make this thing here and then you work around it to make the actual cap portion. And then you add ribbing to it. And yeah, so I'm going to work on that tonight. Since I started this earlier, I should be able to get pretty far into it. It works up very, very quickly. It's just, I got to pay attention to what I'm doing this time, size wise. But I mean, it's still cute. I do like how the color worked out with it. Doubling it up made it look really nice. I still have plenty of yarn left because I used like none. So, yeah, I'm going to work on that tonight. I'll see you when I'm done. Bye. What's up? I don't. I don't know. I'm gonna try making it. I'm gonna try making it again. I think. To adjust it to a size that would actually meet the gauge. I ended up doing a couple more rows in this little piece right here, and I think doing that created a little bubble. It's a little less than cute, I think. I mean, I could probably like pull it down, but maybe actually, yeah, it's okay if I pull it forward a bit more. Yeah, okay. You know what? It's okay. It just kind of is a little lumpy, but maybe I'll try blocking it. But it's acrylic yarn, so I don't know. I think it's a little silly on me either way. Um, I will say I do feel warm, but that might just be because I just came in from a very long walk with my doggy, so I'm a little like hot from that. But yeah, so here's the bonnet. I now have 3 different things made in this same yarn, and I still have more left. I could probably make like a matching pair of gloves or something, mittens, something. I don't know. If you have any ideas for like a skein and a half of yarn in this shade of green, let me know what you got. I'll figure something out. If not, though. But yeah, so I finished that. That should have only taken me about a day, ended up taking 2 days. And now I do feel a bit better. I got a little something else done, and the pattern does work up very quickly. So if I do want to make another one as like a gift or something, I easily can. But now I feel a lot better. I'm going to go back to the sweater I've been working on and hopefully get a bit more progress done on that. So I can, I don't know, hopefully finish the body soon-ish. I feel like that's going to take me about a week or two to finish, which doesn't jive with me in the speed of which I want things done. But knitting is not instant gratification. I need to remind myself that. So, yeah, I'll probably check in a couple of days when I've gotten more of the body done. We'll see how quickly it goes once I get some more focus onto it. And I feel a lot better now that I took a few days off. So, yeah, see you then. It has been a couple of days since the last check-in that I did. I've been very distracted still. This sweater is not catching my attention the way I need it to, but I have worked a little bit on it, and let me show you. Slowly but surely, we're getting more of the body done. At this point, I'm about 17 centimeters into the underarm hole down and still aiming for 40 before I do the bottom ribbing. But yeah, this is not a project I can focus on in its celerity. So I have another project lined up. Let me show you that one. For once, I have the pattern printed out, but if it's not very clear, I'll make sure I show it on the screen. But it is the Honey Bear and Friends scarf pattern by Catherine Kunst. And it is so freaking adorable. Can we just talk about this? So it's obviously based off of, if you're maybe not obviously, it's based off of Winnie the Pooh and his friends. It's so stinking cute. I am someone whose favorite animated character growing up was Winnie the Pooh. And that's just one of the things that just kind of sticks with me, I guess. I've been a lover of Pooh for my entire life. So when I saw this pattern, I immediately knew I had to make it. And I ordered the yarn for it. It's not here yet. I ordered Valley yarns. I forget the type, but it's a fingering weight yarn. And not the, I didn't do this like red coppery color. I instead went for like an antique blue. So it's going to be cream with blue. And I think that's going to be really, really pretty still. Kind of more like a porcelain effect, though, I'd say. But this is a double knit pattern, and I have never double knit before. I did do the tiniest of swatches, an attempt here using some very cheap yarn that I don't like, using needles I didn't like. So I went to visit my mom today, hung out with her for a little bit, worked on this a smidgen, and I rated her needles because she has a lot more than I do. And I have the right needle size or around the right needle size for the pattern. And I'm going to practice on those with some fingering weight yarn that I have left over from another project I've done in the past. So I'm going to do some testing with that just to get used to doing double knitting because it is such a different technique. And I am not the person to describe it to you if you don't know what double knitting is. There's tutorials. And this pattern linked to a couple different tutorials to follow. And the guy who does them does a great job explaining. It just requires some different technique with the hand that my hands are not used to yet. So I will be practicing that for a bit. I'm just going to do like a test swatch just to get used to doing it. And then when the yarn comes, I should probably do a test on that yarn too, but probably not gonna. I'm going to want to dive right in. So that'll be really fun. So yeah, I'm going to do a test swatch. You guys watch that. So that was like 20 minutes of work. It is not very fast, but I definitely felt it getting a little bit faster as I was going on. So, as you can see, the benefit of double knitting is if you use two colors, uh, you're going to have the other side be the other color. So, the idea of the pattern is, since it is intarsia color work, you're going to have the pattern on one side. So if I were doing it in these two colors, I'd have the main color be this red, and then the characters would be in the blue. And then on the opposite side, it would be a mirrored version of that, but the background would be the blue and the characters would be the red. So I think it looks kind of clean. It's definitely better than my first one. But to be fair, my first one, I realized I was purling wrong way too, like a couple rows into it. I also did a smaller swatch. I just didn't like the yarn I was using. But this actually looks kind of neat. As far as the stitches go, they look a little bit better as we go on. The beginning cast on row is a little rough for me. So I might look into doing that a little differently. But otherwise, it's working. I can do it. And yeah, I think as far as brain break projects go, this is not the right choice, since it is learning a new technique while also having to follow a chart the entire time. So I kind of already figured this scarf is going to take me a long time. I don't think I'm going to have it done by this winter. I might have it done by next winter, but I don't see it being a project I work on all the time. Um, because this alone took 20 minutes. This was 30 stitches, technically 28 because you drop the last two when you would do the cast on. So this was 28 stitches that I did 4 rows of, and it took 20 minutes. So it's 5 minutes a row. Yeah. So I've got some practice to do. I probably will keep going at that for a little bit, just not on camera. And I will see if it goes any faster. It definitely will as my hands get used to doing the motions. I already felt it going faster, like I said. Um, but I just don't think that pattern is going to be one that I can work on all the time, just because it is going to be a lot of reading and following the chart. And the reason why the Moby sweater is one that is requiring me to take a break from it all the time is because it requires me to think a lot. I have the pattern memorized. Like, I feel like I've said that a few times. I have the pattern understandably in my head, but I have to keep track of the rows that I do in order to cable at the right time. And then it's just not brainless. Like, say, the last sweater I made, which was after I finished the chart, which was just this portion of the sweater. The rest of it was just stockinette. Um, so it was just incredibly mindless, and I was able to really just breeze through that because I was able to just put a show on and hardly pay attention to what my hands were doing. And I don't see that being something I can do with the scarf. And I already know that's not something I can do with this sweater, because this sweater is, I have messed up multiple times. I almost had a crash out last night working on it because I was doing a wrong side row in the rounds. I was just like supposed to knit across on the lattice work on the front, and I ended up thinking it was a right side row. And I tried to do more of the lattice work, but a row too early, and I was not having that. So I had to undo all of it, and I nearly dropped stitches. I had to go down a few and like re-ladder back up and fix a few stitches. It was a whole mess. So this sweater is fighting me. And I don't know why. I am trying really hard to work on it, but I feel like this is a wrong sweater choice for some reason. And yeah, I don't know. Like I told my mom, I'm trying my best not to put any bad vibes into the sweater because it is a gift, and I don't want to give it to him in the energy that was made around it. It was just negative the entire time. So I'm trying to give myself breaks on it and work on something else. And I'm trying to direct my frustration elsewhere if it is something that gets me frustrated. But yeah, it's I don't think this is going to be the right answer to my problem. It is also just something I want to make. So I probably we'll start another project while I'm working on this, one that is a little bit more mindless, just so I can keep my hands busy, feel productive, but give my brain a break. That's how I work. If you're the kind of person who can just focus on one project all the time, then more power to you. I wish I could do that. But this project in particular is killing me. So anyway, that's my check-in for the day. I'll see you guys around. See you.
Elastic goes, they expand and shrink.